What's going on, everybody? Lauren with the Free as Fuck podcast. You're live.
Here we go. Live.
My camera's having a little technical issue right here, but you're live, Marshall.
I'm live.
I'll be live in a second.
I'm the star. Everyone just comes to hear me anyway.
This is fair. This is fair. It's Wednesday. It doesn't feel like Wednesday to me. It feels like Thursday or Friday.
I don't think days have any feel to them anymore. I don't even feel any different day.
You don't feel a different day?
No,
just
not at all.
today.
Every day is just I'm awake. I'm alive. There's no difference between it used to be back in, I can remember when I used to feel every day, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday. I could tell what day it was just by like where I was in my life. I can't do that anymore. My life is just exactly the same every day. It doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter. It's just today. All right.
I'm just alive, man. I'm just alive.
I'm not mad at that.
Yeah. So everything here's what I want to say is we're talking about the news. The news does not change every day. There's nothing different. Everything is exactly the same. We have a million problems, and our government is doing literally nothing to solve any of them.
We have a million problems minus one, according to Joe Biden.
What is the -1?
Afghanistan, not my problem.
Well, all right. Here's what I
just Biden on Afghanistan,
look. I know, and I see them blowing this up on Fox all the time, and I know what they're saying, and I get it. I'm sure there's some awful things happening there. I have no doubt that that's true. I am sure that the Taliban, they're not good people.
No,
they're not.
Not your friends.
It's not a bunch of monks. Those are some rough ass dudes who just want to kill people. They follow there's no religion behind what they're doing. They're just ruthless murderers. And they want to murder people. They want to murder anybody who doesn't do exactly what they say. And I don't even think anyone knows what they're saying. So obviously they just want to murder everybody. And I don't even know how they get along with each other. I would imagine that if you're in the Taliban, you could quickly find yourself you could quickly find yourself at odds with the rest of the Taliban. Like I could see a meeting of the Taliban where the Taliban's just all sitting together and everybody's yelling and shit and fucking barking. I can't even imagine what it's got to be like to be in a meeting of the Taliban where the Taliban is like together meeting and like talking about their next fucking plan. Because the only thing they fucking do is kill people. So they're all sitting there like, we should kill these motherfuckers. No, we should kill these motherfuckers. And somebody's like, let's kill these other motherfuckers. And they all look at him like, who the fuck are you? What the fuck are you doing talking? You're not even supposed to fucking talk. Kill that motherfucker. And they just kill him in the fucking middle of the shit.
Imagine living your whole life. Like you've made it, like you're like 30 and you've made it this far through all this shit in the Middle East just to die in a Taliban meeting.
I mean, I don't know what they do. Do they have meetings? I don't fucking know. I don't know. Every day they're taking over a new city. But what does that even mean? What is a city in Afghanistan? What does that consist of? What defense do they have? We have armed these guys. We have given them the best technology that we have. We've given them the best training we have. We've spent 20 years there. Over $1 trillion. They have helicopters, they have tanks, they have guns, they have every fucking thing we can give them. We have been giving them instruction and guidance. There's over 300,000 Afghanistan people in their military that we have armed, trained, and supplied in every way imaginable. And they cannot fight a single battle. They can't do anything, or they don't want to. And anybody who thinks that we need to go back in there, you're out of your fucking mind. And we don't just need to bomb them. We need to let them solve their own fucking problems. Seriously.
That's fair.
I mean,
that's fair.
Look. Yeah. What is the level of success anybody wants to see us achieve? What do people want us to have? What do they?
They want it to look like Dubai. That's what they want it to look like Dubai when we're done. We left. There's now the world's tallest building. Everything's made of gold. People are having UFC fights over there.
I mean, do they have a single natural resource over there? Nothing.
They have human death.
They're in the middle of a wasteland, brutal living conditions. I'm sure I can't even imagine what the temperature is. It's probably freezing most of the time, and then hot as fuck. This is what I picture. I picture living in Afghanistan as just complete fucking misery. all the time, where you're freezing your ass off. There's no food around. It's rock. It's not even desert. It's just rock. Everything is hard as a rock.
Yeah.
And all the houses are made out of rocks. And fucking everybody lives inside of a rock.
Looks like something that's Star Wars, man.
And everybody's miserable and fighting all the time and fucking hates each other. And there are people over here that are like, well, look what happened as soon as we left. Well, no shit. Of course that's what's going to happen. But I don't even think the Taliban's going to be able to run that country. That nobody can run that place. Every single person is his own independent warrior, fighting to the death, period. I cannot even imagine what it's got to be like to be a citizen in Afghanistan. If you're a citizen in Afghanistan, you've just got to be used to fighting for your life every single waking moment of your life. And we don't need to go back over there. And we don't need to bomb them. And we don't need to give them any more money. We don't need to build any more schools and all the shit we built for them. They've blown it all up. Everything we built for them is blown up. There's nothing left standing all the buildings that we made. Take a picture of Afghanistan. Show me the thrivingest area of Afghanistan. All the electrical places we've built, all this, they're taking over cities. What the fuck even is a city in Afghanistan? It's an awful place. It's always been an awful place my entire life. Every country has invaded Afghanistan. The Russians invaded Afghanistan. We've invaded Afghanistan. There's like 80 terrorist organizations working in Afghanistan. Show me a pleasant place in Afghanistan where people are like, oh, you could go visit Afghanistan. It would be nice to see this.
That does not exist. There's no nice place.
There's nothing. And I'm not mad at them. I'm saying, why? I don't know. Yes, I get it. The Taliban is bad. But right now, they're not a threat to us from where they are. And there are other countries that are a much bigger threat to us that we need to focus our attention on. China is a bigger threat to us. Anyone who does not realize what a threat China is to us is blind. China is a huge threat to us, and they build everything that we consume.
They do. That is a huge factor. Not only is it just the mass amount of people, they are the world's biggest supplier of everything.
Right. And just to be clear to everyone out there who always accuses China of stealing American jobs, China did not steal anything. Americans gave those fucking jobs to people in China. Americans that run these fucking companies that make all these billions of dollars, all these people that you're so fucking proud of, that you think are so fucking great. They looked at their balance sheet and they said, well, I could keep paying Americans to do this job, or I could send off the labor to a third world country where I don't have to pay the people shit. I can literally pay them pennies a day. It's actually cheaper for me to send the materials over to China, have the Chinese slave labor force, which I'm so sorry we don't have here in America anymore, thanks to minimum wage. I got to pay these people a fucking minimum wage. I can go and send it over to China and pay them pennies. They can make shoes. They can make sports equipment. They can make computers. They can make telephones. They can fucking make everything in China. I don't have to pay them shit, and then we'll bring it back over here and sell it. Oh, people over here won't have any jobs? Why do I give a fuck? I'm making billions. I don't fucking care. China's a much bigger threat to us than Afghanistan. Afghanistan's not a threat to us at the moment. Let them solve their shit. They've got to. Even the people that we think we're helping don't like us. They don't like us. I am quite sure that they don't. Even the ones that helped us when we were there, they didn't even know what to do. Who are the bad guys? Who is a Taliban? Could you tell a Taliban guy from a non-Taliban guy if you were to go over there?
No. You wouldn't know the difference.
Do you think the Taliban fucking identifies themselves as Taliban? Do you think there's not a million people over there that we've killed their relatives accidentally that don't fucking hate our guts? We were there for 20 years blowing shit up and blowing people away and killing people. War is not pretty. It's not precise. We're not over there just shooting Afghanistan or Taliban soldiers and Taliban leaders. We're over there killing everybody, and we're blowing people away that are a lot of times innocent of doing anything. And they're sick of it. They don't want us there. I don't even know why we're having this argument. There's no discussion. We shouldn't
I
be
just said that
in
I
Afghanistan.
just said we just had one less problem. It's not a problem. Biden was like, sorry.
I don't agree with Biden on much, but I agree with him on that. It's not a problem. It's not our problem. There are other countries in the world that have things going on just as bad as what's happening in Afghanistan. We cannot go around and solve every single problem. You know what is our problem? We have people that are sitting in tents all over the fucking America that have nothing to eat. They have no health care. They're strung out on drugs. They have no chance to improve their lives. And the answer that everyone has for that problem is, let's just move them out of the way. And that's not a solution. Our government doesn't solve shit. Nothing. We have crime. People are blowing people away every day. How many people died in Chicago today? Who the fuck knows?
The Chicago over the weekend amount of shootings is insane. It's 45.
They don't even wait for the weekend. They make no distinction in the days. They're killing people all fucking day long every day.
They kill more people over the weekend. Definitely.
Oh, they have a weekend surge?
Yeah, I think they have a weekend surge. They definitely shoot more people over the weekend, and they report on it for sure. It was like 45 people shot in 2 days.
And let me guess what our amazing government has fucking done about it.
They sent a dustpan down there and a rug and a broom.
Yeah.
And swept it under there.
Sweep it
They
away.
They picked a couple. Well, what about the cop getting shot?
Exactly. A cop's been shot, and now everybody's that's the thing, man. That's why I don't like this division between Republicans and Democrats. That's why I don't even believe in Republicans or Democrats. It's just made up bullshit, because as soon as something like that happens, people are like, oh, well, I'm a Republican. How am I supposed to feel about this? Oh, I'm a Democrat. How am I supposed to feel? How do the Democrats feel? Let me get my marching orders from the people in charge of the Democrats so they can tell me how I'm supposed to feel. When somebody gets murdered, innocent person gets murdered, regardless of who they are, it's upsetting. It should bother people. And they're not solving anything. They're not solving anything. Our government doesn't solve, it solves no problems. Nothing. We solved it. We just passed the infrastructure bill. It was bipartisan. Ooh, I'm so fucking impressed. Oh, I'm so happy it's bipartisan. They're fucking all patting each other on the fucking back, running around. Look what we just did, a big infrastructure bill. You really honestly think that they're going to fix anything? Take a look at your bridge, how it looks today. Take a look at your bridge 1 year from today. It's going to look exactly the fucking same. Go out on your street, take a picture of the potholes that are in the street in front of your house. I guarantee there are some. And take a picture of them next year. It'll be the exact same. They will not have done anything. All that money is going to go to the people who have supported their campaigns. The only reason they're addressing the problem is because there's companies out there going, hey, man, we can fix roads. Why don't we do a road bill? I will give you $1 million. You do a road bill where I get $15 billion. And they're like, sure, I need $1 million. Go ahead. Our elected officials are the most corrupt human beings on the face of the earth. Even any of the ones that come up out of nowhere. The Cori Bush of the world. I don't know where she started, but I guarantee you, wherever she was before she became a congressman, she couldn't afford $70,000 a year in personal security.
That's probably a fact.
And so these people, they get a tiny, tiny, tiny bit of power, and they abuse it. And they forget completely where they came from, who they were, who they're supposed to be working for. They don't give a fuck. She's literally standing on TV going, oh, deal with it. Suck it up. That's what she said. All these problems that we're currently having, is anybody trying to do anything about the border?
No, they're not going to do anything about the border.
Does anybody fucking care that the people that are down there working on the border are getting sick? The people that are coming across are getting sick. The people that are coming across are dying. The people that are coming across, why? Why are 8,000 people a fucking day coming across the Rio Grande? And why is nobody doing anything about it to solve it? Does anybody even have a suggestion on how to solve it? No, people, and they don't want to. They don't want to fix it. Neither one of them. I don't even care. Fox News is like, we got a guy down there. He reports on it every day. Nobody else even has a guy down there reporting on it. What is your suggested solution? Is Mexico going to pay for a fucking wall? No. Mexico's not paying for a fucking wall.
Sounds like they need a bridge.
I mean, they basically have now. They've gotten the water so fucking low they don't even have to swim across. They just wade across, wait until the water's low, and they just walk across. And nobody stops them. We invite them in, and we take them to an area, and they all sit under a bridge for a couple days in the sweltering heat, and then we let them go wherever they want to go. And they're never coming back. You're never going to hear from them.
It's true.
I don't understand why nobody's trying to solve anything. We just had a huge thing that came out about the climate crisis in the world. A huge report done by all these international scientists. We're supposed to care so much about the world. They just put this big report out. We're fucked. According to these guys, we are fucked. The problems that we have they're not even solvable anymore. The oceans are rising. Ocean is turning acidic.
Acidic?
Acidic.
I'm going to Google it.
The ocean is turning acidic. And it's rising. And all the ice is melting. And the storms are going to get worse. And the fires are going to get worse. And the floods are going to get worse. And literally at this point, they're like, there's nothing we can do about it. And what are they doing out in California? They banned straws. Are you fucking kidding me? Is that not the biggest fucking joke you've ever heard in your entire life?
It is a joke.
Who the fuck thinks that's solving one single problem? We need to make a massive change in the way that we do everything, period.
No, we don't need straws. Well, you just need to not use one. Plastic straws, actually, to be specific.
Yeah, they banned plastic straws.
Yeah,
That's not even the fucking problem. The turtles are not fucking getting strangled by plastic straws.
Yes, they are. They're down there. Man, look, they're not. They're putting them in their drinks. They're getting drunk. We've got drunk turtles in the ocean because you got too many straws. The plastic. Then we had masks. Now masks are all over the ocean.
Nobody.
Here's the real fact, is that people, if you give somebody something that is disposable, they will throw it on the ground, regardless of what that item is. They will.
My question is, do people really even want to solve the problems?
No, they don't want to
Do
solve
they
the problem.
care? Do they care at all? Because I just feel like nobody gives a fuck. I just feel like right now, and I saw this meme the other day on Facebook, and I gotta admit, when I saw it, I was like, that's exactly right. It's like the whole world is coming to an end. We are facing the apocalypse, and yet everybody goes to their stupid fucking job every day like everything's normal, and it's not. I have now heard at least once a day, every day, that the next variant after the Delta variant is going to be immune to the vaccine.
You said what?
The vaccine will not work on the next variant.
Yeah.
I've now heard that every day, like 3 or 4 days in a row.
Yeah.
And people are already getting the booster. People are getting the booster, even though they're not even authorizing a booster. There's people out there, the rich people, of course, because let me assure you, everyone wants you to be mad as shit at somebody who's getting $300 extra a week. But there are billionaires and millionaires out there who've been fucking you for generations of your life. And everyone treats them like heroes and blasts them up into 50 miles into the fucking atmosphere, thinks they're a fucking celebrity. But there are people that have been working hard their entire lives, get $300 a week. Everybody's fucking mad as shit at those people. They're not the ones getting a booster.
Well, nobody else is even talking about that. You're taking experimental drugs to begin with. This is still not an FDA approved treatment.
Give me
Look, man, that's there for
what
a
is that?
reason.
What is it? What is, you know why?
Because they haven't tested it.
Because
They don't have
they
any data.
cannot test it. Because the test requires time.
Right.
The test that they have to do for a drug, the reason it takes so long to approve a drug is because they have to test the long-term effects of the drug. And the thing that really fucking pisses me off is that most people don't even realize the solution is not a vaccine. The solution is your own fucking health. But people don't want to fucking hear that shit. They don't care. I see things all the time. There's a big long, here's 2 solutions to a problem. Take a pill, improve your life. Everybody's in line for the take a pill. Nobody wants to fucking improve their life. Exercise, eat well. I'm trying. I'm not good at it, but I'm trying. I had a thing that I tried to start where I tried to say we would avoid fast food restaurants for a day. Just everybody in America don't eat at fast food restaurants for one day. And then see if you can do it again the next day. Eat fruit. Here's what I'm doing.
I can't afford fruit.
Fruit's
Fruit's expensive.
I'm eating berries.
What kind of berries?
I'm eating strawberries, blueberries, and blackberries every morning.
You got 1% of money eating strawberries. And
That's what I'm doing.
Expensive. You got a blueberry bush nearby? Look, Megan has a blueberry bush in her yard. She picks like a pound of them things every time.
I got blueberries, organic blueberries from Walmart.
Organic blueberries from Walmart. She's supporting the conglomerate in which he does not appreciate. Walmart. Go to the little. Look. You're over there in Duluth. Go to the.
I'm stepping.
Shop.
I'm one step at a time, man. Hey, man. I just got a place to fucking. I just got a refrigerator to store some fucking blueberries. I just fucking got one. But I will say, for real, I'll tell you. I know I've joked about it and talked about it, but I feel like honestly, the only person that it can. I will solve all these problems for America. I will. Because let me tell you something. Not only do I know that the people that are in charge right now, they're not going to do shit. They're not going to do anything. Joe Biden's not going to do shit. Is there anybody out there? I would love to talk to one person who thinks Joe Biden's going to solve any problem. Nothing.
Maybe we could put Joe Biden on our Amigo list. Maybe we'll find someone who likes Joe Biden.
We could do that.
Look, we're talking about vaccines. Right now, California becomes the first state to mandate vaccines or testing for all teachers, school employees, says Newsom. Look, my buddy that works here, he works for a private company. He said he might look for a new job because they're going to require him to get a vaccine. He doesn't want to get it. So either get the shot or walk away. He says no to the shot.
I'm not getting a fucking shot. I'm not putting that shit in my body.
I think that's most people. They don't want to do it. It's everything just being forced on you, especially knowing it really doesn't do anything to help you. And I saw a post on Facebook that was hurricane in Florida. If they have hurricane shelters, they're going to, they were not going to separate the vaccinated and the unvaccinated or something. And I'm like, what's the difference? Put them all together. They can all transmit it. They can all get it. What's the difference? The odds of one of them having it in both groups.
Well, let me just tell you how apocalyptic things are about to fucking get. Because you're about to see hurricane season is on the way. Days away. There's hurricanes building out there right now. And these motherfuckers are not going to be like the hurricanes we've seen with fucking 80, 90 mile an hour winds. We're going to see hurricanes with 200 fucking mile an hour winds. We'll probably see it this fall. We'll probably see the first one with 200 mile an hour fucking winds hitting the fucking coast. And can you tell me honestly that there are going to be times where we have hurricane shelters where there's motherfuckers standing outside the hurricane shelter and they've locked them out because they're not vaccinated. They're going to be beating on the fucking door. We're going to have Americans getting picked up in the fucking 200 mile an hour wind, flinging around the fucking world. After the hurricane is over, you're not just going to see trees and houses and cars flipped all over the place. You see fucking dead bodies laying in the street because they couldn't get inside because they weren't vaccinated. And I'll be honest, I don't even know. I don't know about everybody is fighting about the masks. Does the kids need to wear a mask? Do they not need to wear a mask? What's the harm if they wear the mask? What's the benefit if they wear the mask? They're going back to school. My son's in school right now. He's going back to school. I don't know. I'm afraid to ask him. Do you have to wear a mask? Are you in school in person? And we talk about these exact same things every time, every episode. I'm wondering how many episodes have we talked about masks and mandates and vaccines and the world's a mess and but I don't understand how nobody is solving any of these problems. And I feel like they're all solvable. We'd stop arguing about petty bullshit and everybody would quit trying to pick sides based on their political party. Can you think of a dumber reason to support thought than that there's other people out there in your political party that tell you that's the way you're supposed to think? That is, without a doubt, the dumbest logic reasoning on both sides. You're a fucking Democrat, you're a Republican, and you are listening to the people out there that are telling you what to think and what to believe? The fuck is your problem? The solutions are not difficult. None of these problems all we would have to do is cooperate with each other and have it as our focus that we are going to try to help our fellow human beings as much as humanly possible. There are people that are against it. There are people that voted against infrastructure. We don't want the roads to be better. We don't want the bridges to be fixed. Right now, they've got the next one, $3.5 trillion. Who gives a shit? There's people like, we can't afford that kind of money. What the fuck do you mean we can't? We damn sure can. Why can't we? Why can't? What is? When I listen to some of these motherfuckers on TV go, well, we can't afford that. Where do we draw the line? Because we're $30 trillion in debt. What were the first 30? What did we get for the first 30 trillion? Show me $30 trillion worth of shit. I want to know, where did the $30 trillion fucking go?
That's a good question.
Show me $30 trillion of fucking effort.
That's a good question.
I'd like to see it, because that's where we are. We're $30 trillion in debt. So we've gone out and we borrowed from some motherfucker. I don't know who the fuck had 30 trillion, but apparently that motherfucker has unlimited money that we can just keep going back and be like, hey man, sorry, we've got 30 trillion. We need $4 more trillion.
It's probably one dude.
Right? Yeah.
There's one dude
there
in the middle of Afghanistan.
Somewhere in Afghanistan.
That's why we won't leave. We're like, no, we got to make it.
We got to
to
protect this motherfucker. He's the only one that gives us our money.
He's got all the money. Oh no.
And so now we got 30 trillion in debt, and people are like, well, we can't spend it. We can't spend it. First of all, let's be perfectly clear to whoever we owe that money to. And I know I've said this before, and I will say it again. Bro, you ain't getting your money back. We don't have the 30 trillion. We don't got it. You ain't getting it back. That number only grows. It only grows during my lifetime. I remember when I was in college, it was $4 trillion.
4 trillion.
I remember when I was in college, and I had a college professor that they've always talked about the debt was going to destroy this. Here's the only time that the debt matters. When we're about to do something good that will benefit everyday normal people, we can never afford it. Whenever we're about it, we need health care for everybody. We can't afford that. We can't fucking afford health care for everybody. We need to give a tax break to the corporate executives of America. Well, that's important. They're the job creators. They're the innovators. They're the entrepreneurs. That we can do. But as far as the everyday, we're going to provide health. We're going to provide food for people that don't have food. We can't afford that. We can't afford to do that.
There you go.
My whole life, I've watched it. It never changed. And I feel like we are on the verge of the apocalypse.
But what does that mean to you, the apocalypse?
I mean, getting to the point where we're seeing human beings drop dead in public. That's what I mean by the apocalypse.
What are they going to drop dead from?
A variety of things. Starvation.
Starvation, okay. Well,
which is already happening.
That's already happening. Not
starvation,
here, but,
overdosing on drugs.
Okay.
And illness. And when you combine those three things that are being unattended, because nobody gives a fuck, the reason I don't understand,
COVID crackheads.
you're fucked.
That's
You're
pretty
you're on
bad
the you're on the verge of death. And I really think that that's going to happen soon. I mean, I hate to say it, but with the argument, the petty arguments that we have over this bullshit that doesn't solve anything, and it's based, man, the people in charge, they want us fighting with each other over stupid shit. You go to traditional media. I won't call it mainstream media. I'll just call it traditional. And by traditional, I mean television or radio. If you go to traditional media and you get your news and information from and newspapers, radio, TV, you get your news from those sources, you are getting nothing but lies. You are getting nothing but division. You are getting nothing but information that is designed to make you hate your fellow American. Because I watch both sides. I turned on MSNBC today. I couldn't watch it for more than 5 minutes. I literally couldn't watch it for more than 5 minutes. Because to them, all they're talking about is they're not interested in the issue. They're interested in the personality behind the issue. Whether the person who's behind the issue is a good person, is a nice guy.
Look at what Arnold said today. Arnold Schwarzenegger said, screw your freedom when it comes to vaccines. He said, you cannot say, no one is going to tell me that I'm going to stop here, that I have to stop at this traffic light here. I'm going to go right through it, and then you kill someone else, and then it's your doing. This is the same thing with the virus. That analogy is so off base, but I hear it in different forms pretty often.
Well, it's not the same.
Oh no, it's vastly different.
Convincing me to put poison in my body that could potentially kill me is not the same as running a stoplight.
No, it's not. Even
and first of all, running a stoplight is a definite gamble based on if you're not even looking. Like if you're going to run a stoplight, if you're going to run a stoplight, but you're looking both ways and you're like, it's clear. I'm running against a red, but there's nobody coming. I'm not going to hit anybody. Versus just blindly gunning it through an intersection with traffic flowing back and forth where you're definitely going to hit somebody. That's moronic. That's the kind of stupid fucking shit I'm talking about. And I like Arnold Schwarzenegger.
That's the shit that's on TV.
Right. That's the kind of shit that people listen to. So here's the thing. This is what I'm realizing. And this is what this is the heavy burden. This is the heavy responsibility that I'm taking upon myself. And I mean this as sincerely as I can mean it. I've tried all my life to figure out what is it I was put on this earth to do. What problems am I here to solve? How can I impact the world? Why am I still alive after the shit that I've been through? I'm going to take all the experience that I have and I'm going to devote myself on this show, on this time that I have to broadcast to people, whoever's listening, whatever the tiny crowd is, whether it's growing, whether it's getting smaller, as long as Lauren sends me a message and says, what are you doing? I'll always be ready to come. I'm off tomorrow.
Oh, shit.
I'm spending a day. I'm having a in my room spa day where I'm good. I bought a weighted vest and I'm going to be doing body weight exercises with an additional 20 pounds all day long. I'm going to do an all day workout. I'm literally going to work out from the moment they clean my room in the morning. I've got to be gone. I come back to my room at about 11 o'clock tomorrow, from about 11 o'clock to 8 o'clock, about a 9-hour workout of just brute nasty, just as many push-ups with the weighted vest as I can do, as many pull-ups with the weighted vest as I can do, as many squats as I can do with the weighted vest, as many sit-ups as I can do. I'm gonna shadow box all day long. I'm gonna move my body as much as I can until I literally have nothing left. I'm gonna try to shed my fat ass gut and work hard all day long, as physically hard as I possibly can. Because I'll tell you what I'm preparing for: fucking war. A fucking war. I had a dickhead motherfucker try to drive around me and flick me off today. I was like, you motherfucker, I'm not even going slow, bitch. I couldn't believe I fucking got the finger. Well, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to solve problems from here on out. I'm going to use this time. I'm going to use this opportunity as long as we have it left, until somebody kicks that door in and tells us we've got to shut things down, until Lauren stops calling me. And I'll be honest, I thought today, I was like, oh, he must be doing a show with Janet or something.
Yeah, whatever.
I was like, that him and Janet must be doing a show. That's why they didn't call me.
Nah.
I didn't know. And I almost called Janet. By the way, I missed Janet. I almost called her and told her, I was like, we're going to be doing the show. You should come by. I didn't. Janet, I know you watch the show, so if you're out there, next time we do the show, if you want to come by, you can come by. I'm not mad anymore, even though you took my seat.
All right. We just can't give you Marshall's seat. That's all.
Yeah, that was fucked up.
That was fucked up.
And I'm not drinking a gallon of
Not a
El
gallon
Toro
of El Toro. That's a big
while
difference.
I'm here. That makes a big
All right.
difference.
So what else you got there that you wanna talk
I mean,
about?
like I said, all the news is
All the
fairly
news is the same.
similar.
You wanna
But
talk
all right,
to other
well,
people?
but no,
You want
let's
to pick a
talk.
different topic?
Well, here's what honestly what I want to do. This is what I want to do. And I haven't even come up to my big look. I'm going to use this platform to run for president against anybody that's out there. Biden, Trump, whoever the fuck. I'm going to do a better job than those motherfuckers. This is what God put me on this earth to do. This little with our dozen viewers, with our dozen listeners, we're going to start right here. I don't need no money. I'm not going to try to gain any money. I'm not going to join a political party. I need nothing behind me. This chair, this microphone, this show, my voice, the truth. I'm going to solve the problems all by myself. I'm not even going to run with a vice president. I'm going to run by myself. Just vote for me. Write me in. See how many votes I can get. I want to take it to these motherfuckers, and I want to fix these fucking problems. So here's what I want to do. With that being the case, let's get on that Amigo or whatever. What is it?
Yeah.
Amigo. And let them ask me about a problem, any problem, or anybody out there that has a problem, and I'll tell you what I would do to fix it. And then I'm going to do it. That's what I'm going to do with my life. We get these people on, we'll pull them up. We'll be like, hey, I'm trying to run for president. I want to lead this country. I want to solve these problems. What is the biggest problem in your life? How can I solve it?
Oh, we could do that.
Yeah.
That sounds fun.
Yeah. Let's do it.
All right. Let me grab a drink, and then we're going to do it. Let me refill here, and we'll kick it off.
Yeah, man. No problem. I'm not fucking playing around anymore. I'm tired of just listening to people complain. I'm tired of watching nothing get solved. I'm tired of watching the exact. Since we've been doing this show, I have come in here week after week after week, and the problems that we have in the world and the things they're talking about in the news are the exact same fucking thing one week after another. And it shouldn't be that way. We have elected officials whose job it is to solve the problems of America. And then we have our traditional media, television, radio, newspapers, whose only function, all of these people profit from conflict. They all make money from conflict. I don't need any money. I'm not asking for shit. I'm going to run for president and win without a fucking dime. You ain't got to give me no donation. I don't need shit. I fucking lived in my Jeep for 8 fucking years. You think I need your fucking money to become president? I'll become fucking president with no fucking money. And when I become fucking president, shit will get done. You want to see shit get done? Shit will get done. That's how I fucking live. And that's what I fucking do. And I'm going to present myself the way I actually fucking am. I'm not going to hold back anymore. I'm not going to sit up here and try to be fucking, I'm going to solve these problems. We're going to fix things. We're going to move the world forward. We're going to make the world better for everybody. And it starts right fucking now. So go ahead, put us on Amigo. I'll tell these people, hey, I'm running for fucking president. I don't need shit from you.
Get your phones on. Get your phones on, Marshall.
Let's go.
Here we go. I've got politics, vaccines, world problems. Anything else you want to throw on there?
What was that other issue you brought up? You said something we were going to put on there.
What did I say I was going to put on there?
Yeah, you said something. You were like, should we put that on Omegle? I can't remember what it was you
I don't
said.
remember either. That was last time.
No, this time.
This time?
Like 10 minutes ago, you were like, should I put that on Omegle?
Oh,
and I was
fuck.
like, yeah, put that on.
I don't even remember.
I don't remember
All
what
right,
you said.
well, fuck it. If we figure it out, we'll add it to the list. Let's see if we find some people to even talk to us again.
People turn us off real quick.
I know. What's going on? Gone. Let's see.
What the hell, dude? That guy looked like George Floyd, man.
George Floyd, damn.
Yeah, man, I just met him. That was crazy. I thought he died, man. Didn't he die?
Yeah, he
Nah.
got killed, man. Who are you?
Or I'm Brenton Tarrant, man.
Nice to meet you, buddy.
Gone. All right. Man, look. What's
Hey,
up?
what's
I
up?
think we talked to that dude before.
He looked familiar.
Yeah. We're just having, sometimes we have shit luck on this one. All right.
What's up?
All right. He's not talking to us. He's just playing music.
Hello.
Hello.
Hey,
Hi. Sorry you can't see my face. I'm over here crocheting a blanket, so
now
That's
you're good. I just want to hear your voice. What is the biggest problem in the world, according to you? What do you think is the worst thing that's happening in the world right now?
there's a lot of problems.
Yeah, I know there's a lot, but we want to try to fix one thing at a time. We're trying to resolve one issue. I'd like to know what's the most pressing. If you could solve one thing, what would you want to solve?
How about a very personal one?
Yeah, go ahead.
I'm very pro-life. I was a conception of rape.
Oh wow.
My birth mom, 20 years later, is able to live her life very happily, as opposed to the one 20 years, earlier, who aborted her baby and is still in ongoing therapy. She was able to actually get out of her abuse.
So, okay, well, I want to try to talk about this. Is a very, very important issue. I definitely would like to talk about it, but I want to make sure that I've got the story straight. So, your mother
Yes.
was raped, and as a result of the rape, you were conceived. Is that correct? Okay, and she had the option and was presented with the option of aborting you, and she chose not to do so. She took you to term. She gave birth to you, and she raised you, correct?
No, she did not raise me. She gave me up for adoption.
Okay.
My adopted parents came into the picture when she was about 6 months pregnant with me.
Okay.
So
she had made the decision that even though she was going to take you to term and she wanted to, she was not going to have an abortion, she still made the decision that she was not fit to be the mother.
yes,
Okay. And then did she know the people that ultimately became your parents, or how did she find them?
I was adopted through the Jewish Community Alliance.
Okay.
So my birth mom wanted to give me up for adoption, right?
Okay.
And so she went through the Jewish Community Alliance. My parents did 7 years worth of background checks, interviews, and their profile was given to her, and she had a selection of parents that she could have chosen from, and she chose my parents. And she sat down with them, talked to them, and she decided that my adopted parents is who she wanted.
Oh, wow. Okay. Okay. And how do you feel? And you're 20 years old now?
Yes.
And how do you feel that the parents that she put you with, how do you feel like they did?
Immaculate job.
Okay. So I'm assuming that you're in school and your things are going well for you, and that your life has been probably not perfect, but very, very good. They raised you with love. They raised you with some stability. You never went hungry. They took good care of you.
Yeah.
Okay. So how do you feel now? Obviously, abortion is still legal. There are people that still have that choice, and often if somebody is the victim of rape, they do, I would assume, I don't know the statistics on it, but I would assume more often than not, a rape victim that gets pregnant as a result of their rape chooses, in fact, that's often one of the justifications for abortion, is they say, well, what about when the mother was raped? Or what about when the child is known to have birth defects? They use those as justifications. Do you even think those are the reasons that people have abortions more often than not?
No,
I don't either.
not at all.
I don't either.
It counts for 0.5 to 1%.
Okay.
1%.
So you know the statistics.
Yeah.
So what
And
is
then if you,
what is the actual justification for most abortions?
it's what I think personally is that people think, oh, well, there's two components. One, burden.
Mhm. Financial
and two,
financial burden
just burden all around.
and
like,
time
that
and
child's gonna be
okay.
born,
Right.
and you're still going to be connected to that father with this child.
So those two reasons you think are the majority of the reasons.
There is I really believe it's a third, and it's really sick. I've been told it. Growing up, people realize that I was adopted. I tell them my story, and I like to show pictures, to make it even more personal. So I show a picture of my birth mom and my birth dad.
Do you know
and
your
they say,
Do you know your birth parents?
I do not.
Okay.
I've not met them.
But you have pictures of them.
Yes.
Okay.
And everyone looks at me and then looks back at my dad, and they both say that we look quite a lot the same.
Okay.
And then they go on to say some really nasty things like, "Oh, now I know why." Actually, they go on to like, "Yeah, your mom should have aborted you. She doesn't want to look at that face because you resemble your father."
Wow.
And it actually stopped me from talking to my birth mom, because I actually found her on Facebook one day, and I was like, I need to talk to her. I need to just thank her for my life, basis line. And it was on my mind that, oh, well, if I show my face around her, she's going to remember my dad, and I don't want to bring that trauma back to her. So that made me stop. I didn't even get to talk to her.
So you were so concerned that your mother would see you and be reminded of your birth father that you didn't want to intrude on your birth mother's life and create trauma for her.
Yeah, because at that point I saw that she was actually living her life. She got away. She got a brand new car. She had a son. She now has a grandbaby, and she's living her best life. And I thought that maybe talking to her, showing up with my face, looking like my dad, she just forgot about all that stuff. She put that past behind her, and here it is being dug up again.
No, there's no way she forgot about it. There's zero chance she forgot about it. She probably thinks about it a lot more than you give her credit for. Yeah.
And the fact is, I'm not her only child that was a product of rape. She
Okay.
had two before me. She married my dad. He was 29, and she was 21. But the first child that she had was 15.
Okay, so the person that raped her, though, was that a stranger or was that somebody she knew?
No, that is someone she knew. And then she lived in a community of, like, in the bush. She lived in a trailer with mud, no internet, no car, basically off the grid, out in the middle of nowhere, a community of like 250, 500 people. And they forced her to marry him. So by the time I was born,
They made her marry her rapist.
Yes.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
Wow.
And the community, again, it was like 250, 500 people. They found out that she was pregnant, and they basically rallied up. They went to a trailer, pulled her out, beat her black and blue, and their justification for that was, you are not getting an abortion. We're going to beat you black and blue until you miscarry. And of course, here I am.
So how did you come to all this information? How did you learn about all of this?
From the very moment that I could understand the word adoption or birth mom or birth dad, I was around 4 years old. My parents told me all this. And then I found out from relatives of my birth mom. So I've talked to her relatives about her.
Okay.
and they verified with me.
So at this point, what are your thoughts? How do you feel about the issue itself of abortion based on all? And by the way, you have, without a doubt, the most unique story that I've ever heard in terms of what you went through to just be alive, and certainly to get to this point in your life where you're able to articulate all these different things that happened. How do you feel about the issue when you hear it come up and you hear it being debated and talked about?
Well, the first line that I give people is human beings are not disposable.
Right, undoubtedly. I mean, that's a very valid statement. What do you think that we could do differently? Because I'm going to ask these questions and I'm going to say what I believe, but I'd love to know. I value your opinion. I think that you sound like you've really, obviously, more than most people, have put a lot of thought into all of these issues that most people don't. Most people have not had the same experience as you. Like you said, you're in the 1%. So, and probably even less than 1%.
Oh yeah.
You're saying 1%. I would say 0.000. Yeah. That's
At most, really.
right.
Honestly.
Yeah. So when you hear the debate that we have as a society about whether or not abortion should be legal and at what point it should no longer be legal, they always talk about the timing, after 3 months, after 5 months, the trimester, which trimester, what are the circumstances? What is your opinion about what should or should not be legal in terms of abortion?
I believe once conception has happened, it is a human being. It has 46 chromosomes, um, 22 autosomes from each parent. Um, it is its own unique human being. And that being said, uh, bodily bodily autonomy starts at conception, I believe.
And so your opinion then would be that any abortion of any conceived pregnancy should be illegal.
Yes.
And in order for that to happen, here's my thought. It is disgusting to me that we live in a society where a mother of a child, regardless of how that child was conceived, has to make a decision about whether or not they're going to carry their pregnancy to term based on finances. And how do we not live in a world where a mother of a conceived child can't just know that she will receive all the support that she needs, if not from the father, at the very least from society at large, where we have elements of society in place that are going to allow her to be able to feed that child, to be able to clothe that child, to be able to educate that child, to be able to provide for the health care and well-being of that child. And I feel like that's where we should be, and that's what we should be working towards, instead of just talking about the legality and the illegality of it. What structures can we put in place where a pregnant woman can feel completely comfortable bringing her child to term and bringing it into the world?
And personally, I've worked 2 years as a nanny with low-income mothers. I always have a dresser full of money. I have baby clothes. I don't have children. There's no children in my household. I always have it on hand in my car, um, because I see these mothers that are always struggling or they're pregnant. I'm like, hey, you want some baby clothes? I provide diapers, baby food, sometimes even medicine, um, on my nannying journey for the last 2 years. And what I've really come to notice is that there's so little information to these women. And then even if you give the information to these women, like, hey, a woman comes up to me, hey, I'm struggling, we start talking, and I say, well, here's some groups, here's the money, here's some baby clothes, have a nice day. And sometimes, actually, I walk in the same store, I see the same woman, or we talk over text or something, and I ask her, hey, did you reach out? Oh, no, I didn't have time. But then she starts begging for money. And there's great organizations like Project Rachel out there that no one actually knows about because it's not ever really spoken about. Or when it is spoken about, it just gets thrown on a back burner.
Do you feel like what you're doing could be, because it sounds to me like what you're doing independently. I mean, if you have a dresser drawer full of money, who's providing that? You're getting that from your parents. You're working another
Yeah,
job.
I work.
Okay.
What I do is that I nanny for low income families, and the money that I do get, some of it is spent like on my personal, things.
Right.
But actually, quite a bit of it, I would say maybe 30% goes up in that drawer, and it's going back to families.
Okay. And you would love to see that kind of, so the people that you nanny for, obviously they are able to live much better lives with your support and your help. You're giving them diapers, you're giving them food.
Yeah.
And if you could, if what you're doing could be done on a larger scale, perhaps more women wouldn't have to choose between aborting their child and having their child.
Mhm.
Wow.
Everyone wants to crash down the foster care system, which I see. Foster care is not that great, but they also don't know about these independent, privatized adoption agencies like the one that I was in. No one knows about Jewish Community Alliance. You know.
Well, I mean, some people must know about it. Obviously, they do work with people. I mean, it may not be widespread. I think it's an issue that a lot of people thought was resolved. And I think it's an issue that a lot of people don't realize that the science has changed on that issue, because it has. There was a time where I think a lot of people tried to make the argument that a fetus could not support itself until it reached a certain point in the pregnancy, based on the science that was available at the time. And I think back when was Roe v. Wade? I think that was back in 73. Yes.
73 or 74.
73, I think it was. And I think back at that time, because of the way medicine was developed, a fetus could not sustain itself until it came to a certain point in the pregnancy. And so a lot of people used that medical information to justify terminating a pregnancy, saying, well, it's not a human being, because it can't support itself outside of the mother's womb. And obviously that's changed, because now we can maintain the life of a child outside from conception.
Yeah.
Right?
Yes.
So I think a lot of people haven't kept up on this issue, because to a lot of people in my generation, they thought that was resolved. And they're still arguing against being pro-life, because they do not realize the evolution of the ways that we can maintain. And at this point, a fetus is a fetus from conception.
Yes.
Wow. Well, I'm glad we were able to have this conversation. I completely agree with you, and I'm going to tell you that my position on this issue has changed over the years. I grew up as a child in the church as a very strong pro-life, but then as I became a teenager and I saw a lot of unwanted pregnancies among my peer group, I became pro-choice, and I used as justification in my own mind that the pregnancy was not an actual human. And I don't think I was alone. I think a lot of people felt that way. And I think that the pro-choice movement presented that as a resolved issue. And I think it's coming back. It's coming back up. And I think that people are beginning to realize that their position should be reevaluated. And I think if people reevaluated where they stood on it, and certainly if people heard your story, I know you don't like to show your face, but if I could promote what you're trying to do, how would I go about trying to promote it?
I don't know.
Yeah, that's the.
Quite honestly, I share my story with a lot of people, and the most that I've gotten, a lot of people like, yeah, and agree with me, and say that is a inspiring story, and other people are like, oh, that's so sad for your mom, but your mom had the choice to abort you, and it's like I cannot conceive in my mind not having my existence. Like it was a really crappy situation, but my dad actually did go to jail 10 years after I was born, and not one account was for rape. He didn't get a death penalty. Why should I have?
Right.
I didn't choose the womb that I was put in. I was just there.
Right. Well, I mean, what I would say is you were put in that womb to make a difference. You're still very young. You're already talking about what's happened in your life so far. You're already reaching out to people and communicating with people. And obviously you're living a life that is helping and supporting people that are disadvantaged as a result of the pregnancies that they had. I would say you're on a great track. I'd just like to help you achieve more. I'd like to see you be able to, I know you don't want to show your face. You're a spinning fan in my view, and I'm not even asking you to disclose your identity, but I would love to see your message get spread. I don't know what you're doing to try to spread it, but if we could spread it through our show, and hopefully people will see this segment and understand your position and mine. I agree with you. I mean, I'm glad you brought this up. We had not discussed this before on this show. And I think a lot of people feel like this issue is resolved and they don't really want to talk about it. Do you find that you meet resistance when you try to bring it up with people?
All the time.
Yeah, I'm sure. I'm sure, especially with people that are older, right?
Yeah.
Like if you bring it up to somebody who's in their 50s, 60s, 70s, they don't want to talk about that.
And even when I bring it up to people my age, they're just so, I don't know how to say it, but they're just so all about convenience.
Right.
Child does not bring convenience. It's a huge responsibility.
No, yeah, I know. I agree. I have one. I have one, and he's 18, and he's starting school. And I will say that I didn't play as much of a role in his being brought up as I would have liked. I tried as hard as I could, but it is hard to raise a child, and I just feel like we could make it so that because without trying to be, children are the future.
Yeah.
In every way. They need to be educated. They need to be healthy. They need to be strong. They need to be wise. They need to have worldly experience. They need to have opportunities. They need to have ambition. They need encouragement. They need protection. They need security. The children are what's going to be the difference between humanity continuing and not. And we are on the verge of not continuing. And if we are going to, if history is going to continue, it's not going to be a result of the people that are even your age. It's going to be a result of your kids and what your kids do. And you should not be forced to make a decision between the life and death of your child based on finances and based on the continued interactions you have with the father. you should be able, as a woman, to be able to bring that child into the world and feel confident that you're going to be able to provide your child with everything that that child needs based on how we are as a society. Don't you agree?
Yes.
Let's get
And,
there.
not necessarily my story, but my adopted mom's story. She was the oldest out of 14 kids. They lived on a farm, and it was just my grandpa. He was working as a milker on a dairy farm, and they would, move about every year or every 2 years. And he'd always try to find a better job. Well, he left. Um, so it was just my mom or my mom. She's the oldest. She took care of the kids, and my grandma was there, and they lived in the project. She had no
Wow.
money whatsoever, and she
Wow.
was able to raise these
Oh
11
my,
children.
that's crazy.
Yeah.
That is crazy.
So it is hard financially, but I think sometimes parents just have to make do with what they have, and they have to sacrifice a little bit. But to say, oh, I don't have money, therefore I'm just going to dispose of my child, I think it's wrong.
Well, I'll tell you what, the only thing that I can do, and again, I don't want to reveal your identity. I'm not asking you to come out and show your face. I think your story is compelling enough as it is. I will encourage you. We will certainly be posting this to the people that follow our show. We're a podcast, by the way. I don't know if you're at all following, taking a look at me and what I do. We're a podcast. We discuss the issues of the day, and we are trying as hard as we can to find solutions to the many things that are the world is facing. And so what I would just encourage you to do is stay in touch with us through our podcast, and I would welcome you back anytime, either to make a comment on some of our posted material or to come back and discuss your story as you continue. Because I think what you're doing is impressive right now. And I think that the direction that you're headed in your life, you're definitely going to have an impact on the world. I'd like to see as much of it as I can.
Okay.
All right. And we're gonna head on, but I thank you so much for sharing that with us and me. And I hope your story reaches as many people as possible. And even in the course of talking to you, my thoughts, my opinions have shifted based on what you told me. So I'm very grateful. What's your name?
My name is Emily.
Okay. Well, Emily, I'm Marshall. The podcast that we do is called Free as Fuck. And if you just want to follow along with what we do, we talk about a lot of different issues. Anytime that you want to chime in with your thoughts, we will definitely discuss them, and or we would love to bring you back in the future. Okay.
Is this YouTube?
You'd have to talk to our producer.
It's on YouTube.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah, I don't know. Lauren does all that stuff.
I do all that stuff, as he says. But yeah, I'll put a link down there in the chat for you.
All right. Well, hey, thank you, Emily, very much. That was one of the best conversations I've had in a long time. I loved learning about your story. Thank you for sharing it.
No problem.
Scotland.
Oh goodness,
That was
it was loud.
Who's this? Oh, what's up?
how you doing,
Yeah.
man?
Are we on a podcast?
You are on a podcast.
Oh, that's sick.
Who you there with a bunch of people?
Yeah. Hi.
Hey, man, how y'all?
Here, you
Oh,
guys
yeah.
continue. I'll be right back.
All right,
Hey, are you live on a
Is this
podcast?
a
we
real podcast?
we are
This is
live on a
real
real
deal, buddy.
podcast.
Oh, where can I see it?
You
Nice.
can see it on YouTube. We're the Free as Fuck.
Podcast. Hang
There
on.
you
Wait.
go.
I'll search on my phone.
Okay.
How about that?
Free as fuck podcast.
There
Fair
you go.
enough. So here's what we want to do. This is what I'd like to discuss. This is why we're here with y'all. I'd like to know what is the most important issue in the world, in your opinion, that and most important problem being solved right now.
Currently being solved.
Currently occurring that we could solve.
Climate change.
Climate change.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
That is the most global problem we have.
And what do you feel like we could do to solve it?
Well, the issue is that there's too much carbon dioxide in the atmosphere. So
Okay.
one issue is to stop it from being emitted or capture it from the air or from the seawater or from what have you, called carbon capture.
Okay, well, obviously, right now, there's a lot of debate about what's actually causing climate change.
No, there's not. It's humans and their emissions.
No, I'm not debating it. I'm on your side. I agree.
He's on our side.
I agree with what you're saying. But there are people out there. There are people in the world that are still not convinced that it's being caused by humans. There are people out there that don't believe that. So what I'm trying to find is what common ground is there so that we can bring those people along and help them to want to participate in the solutions, if you understand what I'm saying. So there are people out there that say, "Oh, this is just the way the world is. It's always been this way. It's not a result of human activity. It's not a result of what people are doing." And they don't believe that humans are causing this. But all you have to do is look outside. Look out of your window. You can see the changes in the weather. You can see the changes in the atmosphere. You can see the changes in the ocean. You can see the changes in the air itself and the weather. What do you feel like what message could we share with those people who don't believe we need to make changes in our behavior?
I guess first they'd have to be convinced there was a problem in the first place.
Right.
And I don't know how to do that. I can point them to a bunch of scientific studies, I guess, but.
Right. Well, there are a lot of people out there, unfortunately, no matter how much science you present them with, they don't believe science.
Yep.
So what I try to tell people is what we could do instead of just promoting climate change is just talk about cleaning up the world. Because at the very least, even if you don't want to admit that humans are causing climate change, you have to admit that the earth is a fucking mess. Do you not agree that the earth is a mess?
Yeah, we're destroying the environment.
There's garbage everywhere. There's so much plastic garbage in the ocean. You can't even fish out a fish that isn't filled with plastic in its stomach. Right?
Isn't there a study that showed not too strong results that we eat 5 grams of plastic every week?
right. No, okay.
More research needed, but
right. No. We're getting along the same track. Now that's what I'm trying to say. Exactly. There's things out there. We're eating poison. Okay, so we're whatever you eat is it being affected by the climate change that we're experiencing, whether it's the cleanliness of the ocean, the cleanliness of the air, the cleanliness of whatever it is we're consuming. It's all it's all interconnected.
Yeah, I mean it's every like 6 or 8 months they talk about that giant trash pile in the ocean. That's miles wide, the trash island, and they're like, "Well, this guy's got an idea," and then he sends out his little machine, and then we don't hear about it for a while. It's like it just got stuck in the trash pile or some shit. You know what happened to that? And we don't talk about it. Look, they just ignore it because we don't see it every day. But if they did put it on the news every day, like the rest of the bullshit, people would pay attention. I just told Moshe earlier we were talking about straws, how they banned plastic straws in California because it's a giant epidemic. The straws were killing people. And as long as you give humans something that's disposable, they're going to throw it on the ground, regardless of what it is. It's a ridiculous premise, but people have to stop being ridiculous and throwing shit on the ground and littering and destroying the earth. And to think when the world shut down last year and everyone stayed home, how much nicer was it outside?
I couldn't tell you. I didn't see it.
I mean, you didn't see them. I don't know where you're at, but in cities, you could like see across the city.
Yeah, the
It
air
wasn't
got the air
no
got
longer
cleaner.
red.
The air got cleaner.
The
The
air
water
got
got
much
more.
there
cleaner.
were some pictures from China.
Oh yeah, China
Yeah,
was a huge
yeah,
one.
yeah. Just a
LA.
little bit, just a little bit from everything being shut
Yeah,
down. Just
right.
from not as many cars on the road.
The vast difference.
That's right.
Yeah, yeah.
You
So
know,
it
and
was
and
good.
that's a minor. Well, it's a major change, but it's a minor time frame to make.
So the only reason I present all this to you, you said it is the most pressing issue. Are you doing anything in your life to promote climate change as being an important issue, or are you just bringing it up because I talked about it?
I'm not like an activist. No.
Okay.
I drive a gasoline car because that's just what I have.
Okay.
You're vegan.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah.
That's huge.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're
Are
both
you-
vegan.
You're both vegan?
Yep.
And look, I'll say this, I'll be honest. I'm not. I aspire to be. It's
Right.
I aspire to be vegan. I would love to be vegan. And I'll tell you why, because right now what most people don't realize is methane. Nothing is polluting the atmosphere more than methane. Methane is a direct result of the toxic from cows.
Yep.
And it's hard to convince people of the importance of that. Now, let me ask you, why did you become vegan?
Well, it was a lot of different. I would say like the main thing that really pushed me over the edge was just videos of like factory farming and mistreatment of animals.
Okay.
But, I mean, the environmental stuff is a huge plus as well. I mean, it also helped motivate me to stay vegan when I was first starting. So,
Well, there's literally nothing you could do that would help the environment more than becoming a vegan. I truly aspire to do it.
Yeah.
that's what I read on a study. I think it's an Oxford study or something. It said
Right.
like, I don't know. I didn't research it in depth, but it was an Oxford study, and it said like the number one thing the average human or something can do.
Do
is
you
to, put the
do you
environment
promote
first.
that? Do you promote that among your friends? Do you try to talk to people about it at all?
Maybe I should more, honestly. I sort of, I don't want to be too in their face about
Right,
it, but
right. Yeah, people get really tense about it.
yeah.
So you got to be careful. But that's good that you made the decision yourself. And obviously more than just you. There are other people among you that did the same thing, right?
Yep.
Well, yeah, his friend made him go vegan, and then he went vegan.
Yep.
And I've been thinking about it for like a year, so I was like, no, why not?
Yep.
Yeah. Well, good for you, man. That is probably, there's probably nothing you could do better in your life that could promote the environment and work towards changing where we are. Because there's a lot of people out there that don't think that the damage we've done to the environment can be fixed.
Yeah.
So, well, anyway, well, listen, it has been a pleasure talking to you. I wish you the very best. Thank you so much for bringing up this important issue. We're going to continue to talk about it, and we'll hopefully talk to you guys again sometime in the future. Okay.
All right. Wait, what's the name of the podcast? Where can I subscribe?
I give you a link to it. It's the Free as Fuck podcast.
Free as fuck.
Free as fuck.
Oh,
I totally thought you were like conservative redneck. I totally.
Ah!
You what? Wait, what? You thought what?
Rednecks.
Yeah.
No.
That's why I was so aggressive. I've been trolling on the Megal.
All right,
Like,
on.
Nazis and conservative and stuff. I'm just like messing with them.
No.
That's fair.
Aggro out the gate.
We're trying to find solutions to the problems of the world. I don't believe in liberal or conservative. I think those are made up terms. I'm definitely not a redneck.
Well, wait a second now. Marshall does have one bitchin' mullet. So
I just
let's
don't
be
judge me by the mullet. The mullet,
close.
the mullet is it's just a way of
He
life. It's just
dresses
a way of
funny.
life.
He's got
But,
the attire.
But absolutely, I'm glad we got a chance to talk, and I really look forward to having you guys. We want to talk to you again and see if you can maintain. I'm trying to be vegan. I'm trying, man.
Dude, go for it.
Yeah,
It's-
why not? Beyond meat, Beyond Burgers
It's
is
hard.
really good.
It's not as
Yeah,
hard as I
meat.
thought it was going to be. Right.
Well, I've got my own kitchen now. I was homeless for 8 years. For 8 years, and so during that time, I didn't have any way to prepare my own food or store my own food, and because I couldn't do that, I had to eat fast food a lot. You know, like 99-cent burgers and all that stuff. I had to do that because I had no way to support, to store food and make food. But now that I've got my own kitchen, I just moved into a place. Now that I've got my own kitchen, I'm gonna make that switch, and you guys have motivated me to do it. I appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you very much. I'm glad we got a chance to talk. You guys have a great day. Check us out, and we'll talk to you again. I'm sure we will.
All right.
Hell yeah.
Thank you, guys.
There you go. Free as fuck.
Do you want to do another one?
Yeah,
One
we'll
more?
see if we get one more. Let's
One
see if we
more. All right, we'll do one more.
get- I wish to put Joe Biden on. I don't know if we
What's
did.
up, bro?
What's up, champ?
Hey, man, how you
got
doing?
blue as shit.
How are you?
Hey, you're on a podcast, bro. You cool with that?
Yeah, I'm cool with that, man.
All right. We're out there right now. We're trying to figure out what is the most important issue in the world. What is the most important problem, and how would you solve it?
I would say probably the most important problem right now is immigration. I would say.
Okay, fair enough. You brought up something different than everybody else. What do you feel like we could do differently? Obviously, right now we're not doing shit about it.
Yeah.
We're not solving that problem at all. What do you feel like is the issue with it? Are you upset that it's happening? Are you upset that it's not being contained? What changes would you make?
Well, the first thing I'd do is I would essentially build a wall at the border, send the military to the border. I mean, probably deploy National Guard troops. Hold on one second.
Sure.
Okay. Yep. Okay. So anyway, yeah, I would probably send National Guard troops to the border, build a wall, and I think we have way too much immigration. I mean, we have like hundreds of thousands of people a month pouring over our borders. We don't
Sure.
do anything about it. So I think we should definitely curb immigration heavily.
Why do you think they're allowing all these people to come across the border?
Well, I think when it comes to like the Democrats and their allowing of it, I think it's mostly because the donors that fund the Democratic Party are big business. They fund the Republican Party too, to an extent. And the big businesses, they like cheap labor. They like having people to do work that Americans won't for cheaper wages. So essentially, they want people to come over the borders so they can have pretty much like a class that they can exploit and they can use for cheap labor. I think also there's a lot more nefarious things going on. And I think a lot of, like not necessarily liberals, but leftists, they want to change like the culture of the country, and they don't really like how America is currently.
So you think that the reason that we're leaving the border open, because basically right now I think we would all have to agree it's wide open.
Mm-hmm.
If you want to come across our southern border, you can come across.
Yeah, pretty much.
We've sent that message out to the world. And there are not only people from South America, there's people from all over the world flying in to Mexico and Panama and all these other countries, and they're making the walk, and they're coming across the border basically unchecked.
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, they just caught a bunch of people at the border who were from Haiti. Like Haiti,
Right.
They would have had to take a boat or something to get to
Right,
Mexico.
well, yeah, sure.
I
Yeah,
think, we talk about this on our show a good bit, and I think we talked about it maybe 2 episodes ago, and I said that I believe the majority of people in America think that the only thing that comes across the border are Mexicans, and
Yeah,
that's
it's
so
not true.
crazy to think that. But in fact, people from all over the world come through the border at Mexico because that's the easiest way to get here. For them, if you were just to pull up, like it's hard to just pull up a boat up in South Carolina, just hop off and here you are.
Yeah. Yeah.
So they're coming through the southern border because that's the easiest point of access. And in fact, most of them are not Mexican at all.
Yeah.
It's a big issue down there. And me and Marshall disagree on what, I wouldn't say what to do about it, but how it's being handled for sure.
Yeah, I mean, right now there's just this leaked memo that came out. These leaked emails from like an ICE official and this nonprofit like anti-ICE group. So they pretty much the group is called Abolish ICE. Tucker Carlson was the one who broke the story, I think. And essentially, there's these leaked emails where Abolish ICE is telling, they told the ICE official to not deport this violent felon migrant, and they essentially said put a hold on him for a certain amount of time, and he's still in the country. ICE confirmed that he's still in the country. And they said that he didn't get deported. And so these activist groups are essentially telling ICE who and when they can deport people, and it's crazy. I mean, the Biden administration has essentially they essentially purged ICE of all of the people who disagree with him politically, and put in these people who are gonna continue his open borders agenda. And I think it's crazy. You know?
Well, let me ask you this, because this is how has it affected you personally, or has it affected you personally?
Well, I would say I think it affects every American personally. I mean, they're not speaking our language. You know, they're not coming into our country to assimilate. They're essentially going to these like enclaves, I would say, in major cities so that they can have these communities where they only speak Spanish, and they're not really assimilating into the country. So now Americans have to adapt our culture and our language to these people. I mean, like the classic thing is like, you know, press one for English, press two for Spanish. I mean, this is our country. I mean, this was founded by our forefathers, and this is a country that is built on Western culture, on Christianity, on speaking English. I mean, speaking English is the most basic American thing that you can do. So I think it's crazy that we're allowing these people to come in here and change our culture completely from what it is to something different. And I think when you have millions of migrants from the third world coming into here, you see like in these major cities that they're starting to look like the places they came from. They're starting to look like the third world. So I think it's crazy. You know.
Do you know any people that have made that walk?
I don't know anybody personally that's made the walk, no, but I do know the family of someone in Iowa. I can't remember the name of the girl exactly, but there's this girl in Iowa who went out for a jog, and some illegal immigrant killed her. You can look up the story,
Yeah, I
and
remember that.
yeah, and she lives relatively close to me, or she did live relatively close to me. So, you know, things like that happen all the time. And he was working at a Tyson plant. You know, these companies hire these people and they allow them to live here, and I think it's crazy. There's this great quote that I like to bring up. It's called "We wanted workers, we got people," and I think that's the problem. Is all these big corporations, they want workers so they can have cheap labor, but then we get stuck with the people, and the people don't assimilate into our culture, and it's a bad thing, you know.
Well, I would just as far as the people coming across, if you've ever talked to them, why do you think when you think about somebody from South America or Central America that is 9-10 years old, or even a family that's making a 3,000-mile walk from where they are, why do you think they come to America? Why do you think they leave the country that they're from and come here?
I would say it's mostly economic reasons. I would say they want to come to a country that's more prosperous, and I think they want to come to a country that we've built that is better. I think, and I think that a lot of these people come here for economic reasons. Some of it is genuinely humanitarian, like some of the people are genuinely escaping violence,
Right.
but I think most of it is economic. Most of it, people don't have enough money in the countries that they live in, or they want to make money, so they come here. And I mean, we just have to balance it to where Americans are benefiting and the immigrants are benefiting. But I think the government's job, the American government's job, is to look after the American people. And right now, they're putting the interest of immigrants over the interest of American citizens, which I think needs to change.
So, well, and first of all, I would definitely agree with the fact that there's no control on the border, and there's no question that there are people that profit from it.
Hmm.
Because if you look at any of the problems that we have in America, there's always somebody that's making money from the issue,
Oh yeah.
from the problem, whatever it is, whether it's COVID, whether it's masks, whether it's immigration, whether it's healthcare, whether it's crime. There's always somebody making money from it. And you know, my question to us as every American is, what can we do? Like, let's say, for example, we got to a point where America became unlivable. And it's not hard to imagine that America could become unlivable. We have fires, floods, storms, tornadoes. We have a lot of different things that happen, especially in the area of where we merge with Mexico, where America is becoming, you have fires in California right now that are killing people, destroying neighborhoods. What if we build a wall? And for some reason, we find ourselves in a situation where we've got to flee to Mexico. And I'm not talking about mass immigration to Mexico, because we're talking about communities or whatever. But then we run into the wall that we've built. I'm just saying, like, if we build this wall, and we could, and people have suggested that we do it. But we find ourselves in a situation where we've built a wall between ourselves and these other people. And then we find ourselves in a situation where we need to go, and because of circumstances beyond our control, we've got to make the run. Don't you feel like that would be a little bit ironic if we ran into a wall that we built that stopped us from getting to where we prevented people from coming from?
I mean, I think it'd be pretty ironic, but I mean, there's still ports of entry. There's still places that people could come across the border. I'm not talking about like a hard lockdown on the border where like people can't travel to Mexico or people can't travel to the United States. I mean, that can happen. It's more about immigration entirely. And I think we need to, I mean, not necessarily lock down our ports of entry, but ports of entry are where most of the illegals are coming from. I mean, when it comes to crossing the border, they're coming through ports of entry and like they're either hidden in the trucks or they're coming across on like tourist visas or whatever, and then they're staying over their visas. So I think we need to deploy like the National Guard, to the border. I think that's more of a priority even than the wall overall. I mean, we have a lot of technology that can stop illegal immigrants. We have infrared. We have a lot of things. So I think we should focus on that as well as a wall. But I mean, I think the wall is more secondary to the national government.
So you're not opposed to people from other countries that need to be in America coming to America. You just like to keep the criminal element out, and you'd like for the border to be secure, whether it's a wall or technology, from people that shouldn't be here getting across. Is that correct?
Oh yeah, of course, yeah.
Okay, I just want to make sure.
On our last show we talked about this, and my take on it is that we need to have I find it amazing that in 2021 we don't have a streamlined immigration process in the biggest country of immigration in the world. And that was one of the things that Trump talked about and just didn't do, which is we need to implement a way for people to come here the right way. That way they're not going out and getting coyotes and walking across the desert and dying trying to get here. There is a way for them to get here. And if you don't pass the criteria of whatever the criteria may be, obviously, I don't think you want felons. I don't think you want dangerous people with, violent criminal history to come across the border. But I think that for families and a lot of people, there should be a way for them to get here that is streamlined and they're not waiting 10 years to get some kind of citizenship. But also, once they come across the border, we talked about where do they go. If you made this trip and you walk over, dude, could you imagine leaving your house and leaving your car and all your shit behind and just walking somewhere you don't know fucking nobody and just live your life? That's it. That's a crazy concept to us to even think about. So I think there needs to be a way to integrate them into our country. And we had talked about, whether it be implementing them into cities that are distraught, like Detroit or something, and saying, what are your skill sets? What is it that you bring with you that you can do? And let's go put somebody into a place that they can help better the country instead of them just wandering around aimlessly hoping to make $10 today. And, it makes no sense to me that we don't have a way to integrate them with all of the resources we have in front of us.
I'm going to ask you this one last question, and then I'm going to let you go.
Yeah.
Do you think that our current government is going to do anything to solve this problem?
Definitely not. Like I talked about, Biden essentially he undercut
Kamala
ICE.
Harris eats it on the border every day. She goes there and she gets like a margarita.
Oh yeah.
She's got her eyes on the border.
Oh yeah, all times, yeah. But no, I think Biden, he's systematically like purged everyone that disagrees with him from the military and from, from all these other places and from ICE. I mean, he implemented these rules and these policies that would essentially like purge like political dissidents from these organizations, and especially ICE. He put in a new head of ICE who is essentially like an open borders advocate type person. He's not someone who has interest in, protecting our border or protecting the American citizens. Like he's essentially like an activist who's for open borders. So,
All
I
right.
just think it's crazy. Yeah.
All right. I lied. I got one last question. So if somebody came along and you felt confident that that person was going to solve the problems that we have at the border, you would be able to get behind that person and support that person and want that person to be in charge?
Oh yeah. I mean, they would have to. I would say they have to agree with me on a few other things, not just.
Sure.
I'm not going to vote for like a socialist just to
Yeah.
close borders.
Right. No
But
problem.
I would vote definitely for someone who's for closing the border and for stricter immigration for sure.
There you go, bud. Well, it's been good talking to you, man. I love to listen to your opinions. We're on a podcast that's free as fuck, and we'd love to hear from you again in the future. So keep in touch with us, and when we next time this topic comes up, we'd love to talk to you again. Okay.
Okay, sounds good. You guys. Have a
Sounds
good
good, man.
You
You
too.
too.
Fun. Hey, the three guys on the couch, they said hi. They're back here. It said hi before he leaves. We'll go close out Amigo for right now. We'll get off of that. So they're over there watching you. But yeah, we get some. It was not bad. We had some interesting conversations tonight. It was not bad. I liked it. But like you said, again, it's still the same topics that are in the news are the same topics that are in the news.
Well, no
It's
one's
not
solving
changing.
them. No one's
well,
solving
because no one's going to solve it.
them. Sorry.
They're not interested. They're not interested in solving it. They're interested in talking about it.
Well, and the thing I always look at is no matter what the issue is, you have to look at who's profiting from the problem. And there's people out there that make money from the problems that we experience, like everything that you're going through in your life. And it's fascinating that girl talked about abortion because, first of all, we've never discussed it. And I feel like one of the reasons we've never discussed it is because we're not women.
Yeah. I mean, I
We're
think
not
we
women.
both sit on the same side of that fence and go, you can't tell a woman what to do with her body because you never look. Just let women go be in charge of dicks for 10 minutes. See what happens. See what kind of changes are made. All right. Let me tell you something. They're gonna make some changes. You're not gonna be putting that thing wherever you think you're putting it. Things are happening right now.
I mean,
Don't tell them what to do, man.
yeah, we talked to
We did
talked to
talk about
somebody.
it a little bit with the Alex Jones, the fetus thing, organ harvesting, like a couple episodes ago, which is gaining steam.
My opinion on it evolves like with anything.
It does.
I will say, with any issue, as I consume information, my opinion on the issue is going to evolve based on the information that's currently available. I think that's the way people should be. I think that's not how everyone is.
Right.
Some people are rock solid invested in fighting for what they believe, and you got to look and be like, hey man, we've been through a lot as a country. America has made a lot of transitions just in my lifetime. I can think, man, I'm gonna try to share a little bit about what it was like when I was growing up. I remember there was a guy on TV named JJ on a show called Good Times. It was about a black family that lived in the suburbs or in the I don't want to say the ghetto. They lived in the projects on TV. And JJ used to walk around and go like this. He'd be like, yeah. And I remember the first time I did that around one of my friends, and he was like, dude, you can't go like that. That's gay. I was like, what? He's like, if you put your hand like that that means you're gay. And I was like, I'm a kid, and I'm thinking to myself, the way I put my hand, but that was the mentality. There were other people standing around him who they were like, yeah, man, that means you're gay. And I was like, I was just doing what the guy did on the TV show. He was like, Kid Dynamite. And he did his hands like this. And they were like, no, man, if you put your hand like that, that means you're gay. And I think about how far, hopefully, we've come
Oh, we've not come far.
from the point where people think that just holding your hand in a certain
Bro.
pattern
It was a year
means you're
ago.
gay.
Couldn't do okays. When I was a kid, you put this symbol below your waist, and if you looked at it, you got punched. That's all it meant. It meant, I got you, you got punched. Last year, it means okay. It means white supremacy. Look,
All right,
man,
well,
we're making
all right,
up the
well,
rules
let
as we
me-
go. Meanwhile, there was a glorious sign language interpreter doing WAP the other day on TV, just fully engulfing WAP on TV. Look, man, we're not evolving as people. We're not. We're just changing the narrative.
Well,
The thought's the same.
I will say this to all of America. And I say this with the utmost confidence that what I'm saying is 100% correct. I've devoted my life to learning everything I can fucking learn about every single topic there is. Everything I could learn, I've tried to learn about human interaction, about the way people talk to each other, about every topic that I come across. I want to absorb as much information as I possibly can. And at this point, I'm left with, I have resisted being in charge my whole life. Everywhere when I was in basic training, I was 17 years old in basic training. And they made me the platoon guide. They made me in charge of the platoon at 17 years old. I was like, fuck, I'm not even old enough to really be in the Army. My mom had to sign a paper saying, let him go. And the only reason my mom signed the paper was because she could not fucking handle me being in the house any longer. She was like, yes, send him to the Army. 17, he's not old enough. I don't give a shit. Fucking go to the Army. And I got to the Army, and after like 2 weeks into basic training, they made me the platoon guy. They put me in charge of this whole platoon full of fucking adults. And I did the best I could to try to wrangle these guys. And even when they put the rank on my collar, I was like, man, I don't want to be in charge. I'm a rebel. I'm not in charge. And I spent my whole life doing every job I've ever been on. After I'm there for like a week, they're like, you should be the fucking manager. You know so much about this shit. You should be the fucking manager. I'm like, I don't want to be the manager. I just want to live my life. I just want to be a regular dude. I want to learn. And more than anything, now that I've got a son, I want to be around my son. And I'm about to be around my son in 2 weeks. And when I'm not around my son, when I'm away from my son, I stray. My son is just this amazing force that guides me and keeps me focused. And when I'm away from him, my mind strays because all I think about is when I'm going to see him again. But here's the point of what I'm trying to say. And this is what I'm going to try to do. And this is my promise to you, America, because I love this country so fucking much. I wouldn't want to be from anywhere else. Whenever I'm on Facebook and they're like, in my country, we have healthcare and we have 2-week vacations and we have education up until we're 75 years old and we're fucking better than you in every category. And I always think to myself, motherfucker, I wouldn't leave America to live in your fucking country for any goddamn fucking reason. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to make America fucking better than it's ever fucking been in my entire fucking life. So here's what I'm going to do. I've resisted being in charge, but I'm going to run for fucking president. From this spot, in this chair, in this room, and I don't need shit. I don't need one fucking dime from any of you. All I need is everybody who's out there who's sick and fucking tired of these sorry ass motherfucking pieces of shit that have fucked this country up again and again and again and made us fight each other over fucking nothing. I need you to come together and tell these motherfuckers who are in charge that we are fucking sick of you destroying our fucking country. And this is what I can promise you. You get behind me starting right fucking now. Starting right fucking now. Get behind me. And put me on that fucking stage. Put me on that stage against a fucking Republican. Put me on that fucking stage against Joe Biden. Put me on that fucking stage against any fucking Democrat, any fucking Republican, and I will fucking rule their fucking ass for you. I have worked my whole fucking life for this moment, and I will not fucking back down at all against any fucking buddy. God bless you all. God bless fucking America, my fucking home.
There you go. Every week we get a little bit of that from Marshall. How much he loves this country. Why he does it, man. Look, I told him before, run for president. You don't need no money. You need to talk to people.
We're going to do it.
You can do it. That's the best idea. Look, anyone can do it. First of all, anyone can do it. The idea that we have to pick one of two people.
That's ridiculous.
Is fucking crazy. If you want to run for president or governor or mayor or city council or senate or Congress, bro, just do it. If you have an idea that's going to better this country and the place you live, just go do it. You don't need $1 billion. They raise $1 billion. It's disgusting how much money they raise. Disgusting.
For what? Every time I hear about these fucking people, they're like, "Oh, he's gonna win. He's got $1 million, and that motherfucker only has $100,000."
Yeah,
and I'm always thinking to myself, I ain't had $100,000 in my whole fucking life. I've never, ever had or seen $100,000 fucking dollars in my life. And they're like, oh, the last thing, they're like, oh, this person's got $1 billion. This person's got $1 billion. Let me tell you something. I mean this. I'll beat those motherfuckers with $0 fucking dollars. I don't need jack fucking shit. I need this microphone. I need this fucking opportunity to talk to you. I need to be able to share my fucking ideas, and we're going to solve some fucking problems. We're going to talk to Americans. We're going to find you where you are. You don't have to give me shit. You have to donate a jack shit. We'll make money off advertisers, motherfucker. I don't need fucking no donations. Just fucking let me talk. Let me fucking solve problems, and I will fucking lead this country out of the problems that we currently fucking have. I guarantee it. I will not let you down. Ever. God damn, I love this country.
You need from people. You need someone who's passionate about what they want to do. That's important. I think that's real important.
These motherfuckers in charge are piss poor.
They are
piss fucking poor.
Get enough. That's the revolution we need. We need a bunch of people, just regular people with good ideas, to run for all of these offices.
Yeah. Hey man, I'm gonna put those motherfucking 3 dudes on the couch in charge of the fucking health and nutrition board.
Well, I know who the current person in charge is, and that would be an upgrade. So.
Right. Hey, look, who's in charge right now of telling Americans to be healthy? Give me those 3 dudes. Those three dudes are like, hey man, we're vegan because we want to fucking be healthy, and we know that. Hey, God bless you, brother. You're in charge. So get ready.
Good luck. Buckle up.
All right. Are we rolling out?
We can. I mean, unless you got something else you want to throw in the mix here.
Let's see if we got one more.
I mean, we should talk about Cuomo's brilliant resignation. Did you listen to what he said? Oh my god, dude! What?
I will say this. That has to go down as one of the fucking worst speeches in the hit. You
Can we
can't
find
even
it?
you can't
Where
even
is it?
resign with dignity. Dude.
Where is it?
And
2 minutes.
think about a year ago. A year ago, the whole world was sucking his dick.
Oh my god!
The whole world was like, oh, we're all Cuomo sexuals. Oh, we fucking love Cuomo. Oh, he's so.
Oh,
Dude.
man. Didn't he said he didn't want them to waste their time and energy investigating him. So I'm going to leave. They have better things to do than look into me. And they're
After
over
they
there like,
spent-
we got
after they
nothing
spent-
else to do.
After they
That's
spent,
all we want to do, motherfucker.
they spent 4 months. He was like, I don't want him investigating me. They just investigated him.
Did you not learn anything from 2016 to 2020? All they want to do is investigate you. From point A to point B.
Here's the thing, man. In all of my life, watching these people investigate somebody, they always, at the end of the investigation, they don't turn up shit until this motherfucker.
Yeah.
This has undoubtedly got to be the first investigation in my fucking lifetime that I've seen where somebody actually has done everything that they fucking accused him of doing. Everything. And he was like, he was the one who initiated the investigation. He was like, yeah, oh, you want to investigate me? Go ahead and fucking investigate me. And they're like, okay, we're going to investigate you. All right, our investigation is over. You've done all the things that they said you did. And actually, we found additional things that you did that were even worse than the things that we thought you did.
It's brilliant. It's absolutely brilliant. What do you think's going to happen to him?
Here's what I would say. First of all, I don't wish ill on anybody.
No, what's going
I
to
don't
happen?
like to see nobody. I don't like to see nobody. You know what? Here's what I would like to say. I would like to see him experience. I would like you to have to live in your car for 8 fucking years. That's what I'd like for you to fucking have to do. I don't want to see you go to jail, man. Jail ain't no fun for nobody. I've been there enough times to know it ain't no fun place. And I don't want to see you hurting. Live in your car for a little while. And
In the city that you just
in the
governed.
city that you were just in charge of, and the city that you just neglected all those people living in their cars. Because I can assure you, I was in New York. There's people living in their cars, and there's people living on the streets. I slept on many a park bench in New York City. I lived there 3 years. I slept in Port Authority a lot of times. I used to get rousted by the police all the time in Port Authority. I'd find a little spot. I had a spot in Port Authority. I could take you with a camera crew. I could take you right to where I fucking slept at Port Authority. I used to sleep in Port Authority all the fucking time. I used to sleep on the benches in Port Authority all the fucking time. There's benches in Port Authority. If you don't know what Port Authority is, go to New York. And in Port Authority is where all the buses from Jersey and all the buses from New York, everything comes into Port Authority. And that's how you get around. And I used to go to Port Authority. That was where I would start my fucking day. And that was where I would end my fucking day. And if it was cold enough outside, that's where I slept. And if it was cold outside, in New York, it's cold as shit. And I would sleep in Port Authority. And in Port Authority, they have Port Authority police. And the Port Authority police would come around and I'd be sleeping on the fucking floor in Port Authority. And they come up and they kick you. And they're like, hey, you can't fucking sleep here. And sometimes I would comply. And I'd be like, all right, I won't sleep here. I'll go somewhere else. And sometimes I would not comply. And I'll be like, motherfucker, I got nowhere to go. Where the fuck do you want me to go? It's fucking 15 degrees below fucking zero outside. With some rough fucking times, man. Rough fucking times. So what I would say to Cuomo is, experience that for a little bit, brother. Go through that. See what that's like. See what it's like. You know, you won't want to sweep up homeless people once you become one, because you understand what it's like to have nowhere to fucking go. And I feel like he's real close. I don't want to see him go to jail, but I think he deserves to be humbled. And maybe it'll do you some good. And maybe you can come back and talk about how you made mistakes and how you're sorry, and actually be sorry. Don't come on there and tell people you didn't do nothing fucking wrong. Admit what you did, and then we'll move on.
There we go.
God bless you all. Here's what I'll say. Some people are born free. Some people die free. And some people just live free as fuck. God bless you all. God bless fucking America. Thank you.
There you go, man. It's episode 21 in books. It is August 11th. And we're going to sign off on that. Hit the like button to the channel. Share it with your friends and family. Share it with coworkers. Share it with the world. We're just trying out here to figure out a way to solve this shit show that we wake up to every day. We all wake up and we go, fuck. Every day. We look at the news. We're like, the fuck happened? I was asleep. I was gone for 6 hours. 6 hours. So throw us some ideas of things that you'd like to talk about, and collectively maybe we can come to an understanding of how to make the place we live better. Maybe. Till then.